Hello, everybody from sunny Liverpool. Welcome to the latest edition of the Late Challenge podcast. I'm Mo Stewart. I said sunny Liverpool, not quite as sunny as Tenerife, so Robbo's decided to desert me and go there. But I brought a good friend along, someone you may well know. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Porco.
Hello.
Now, I put a tweet up saying I wonder who it was, trying to put a bit of mystery in, and everyone seemed to think it was going to be Rob Gutman. So, apologies to all of you. We went for the OG.
Oh, I won't go on Twitter now because you'll have the usual fallout of the. You'll have those saying, "Oh, I made up Kopi's on." You'll have people going, "Fucking hell, I hate Kopi. It's Rob's well better." Where's Robbo? And where's Robbo?
Look, it's never.
I didn't even know he'd gone to Tenerife.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't know until pretty much just before we started last week's show.
Nice.
But I'm hoping he's enjoyed himself. He deserves a break. I know that it feels like him and I have been dancing here, there, and everywhere in this time. But this is the point. It's the summertime. This is when the football is meant to kind of go away for a little bit, so we get a chance to refresh and recharge and reset. But guess what? The football's decided to not go away. Liverpool have been very, very busy, pretty much all summer long. Like, I remember we were sitting there thinking, God, how are we going to fill all the summer shows? Apparently, Liverpool had us boxed off. It's fine.
I know. Do you know what's funny, mate? I decided a few weeks ago, I was like, I'm going to run a coaching course through the summer because it'll appeal to footy fans. Yeah. Do you know, when there's nothing else on? It's like, so I'll do 8 weeks during the summer. And as I launched it, because I'd switched off from everything, I literally saw that day our pre-season friendly was on. Yeah. I was like, how the fuck has this happened? It's back already. And then as we're going to go launch into, Liverpool have made a big deal of it not going away at all.
No.
Which is fun. Yeah,
it's fun. I remember I said in about April time, it's going to be a big summer for Liverpool. It's going to be a big summer for Liverpool. Arne Slot's first dip into the transfer market. And I had hundreds and hundreds of people online and in person saying, nah, they always say this. It's never going to happen. FSG are going to be sitting on their hands once again. Well, guess what? They have not been sitting on their hands. As of today, an agreement was finalised. It's not official. He's on his way to do the medical. He's not got the shirt. He's not signed it yet. But to all intents and purposes, Hugo Ekitike is going to be playing for Liverpool next season. Now, there are so many little parts to this, so many little chapters in the story. But before we get to all of that, and we will, I want to ask you, how do you feel about him? How much of him have you seen?
I haven't seen much, but we've been doing that thing that we always do. It doesn't matter who's on shows. You start talking about it before, and then stop, we'll talk about it on the show. I haven't seen much at all, right? Because in my head, he was the bargaining chip for Isak. Like, it was just... And I've loved watching this, by the way. All the people who slagged off Edwards and slagged off Richard Hughes and all that. We're fucking brilliant at this game, by the way. We're just fucking brilliant at it. And now we've started swinging money around. Everybody must be like, oh, fuck off. Because we were already good at it. Like the negotiations, the tactics, the strategy. And now we're throwing money as well. Imagine when Newcastle were like, right, we want Ekitike. And then we went, well, we want Isak then. And they went, Isak's not for sale. And we went, are you sure? And they went, yeah. And we went, well, we're going to buy Ekitike then. And they were like, oh, fuck you. And now we're going to get him. And it's still, it hasn't fit. Imagine being a Newcastle fan right now, or Eddie Howe. It still hasn't gone away that we might get Isak as well. So that hasn't even helped them. But anyway, on Ekitike, as soon as I saw, it looks like we are getting him, I went into the YouTube world. And straight away, I was like excited because he is the type of striker. The comparisons with Darwin Nunez, you're going to bring up, but I just can't, I don't see him as anything like Nunez from the bits I've seen. The things I love about him are quick feet, nimble, flexible, dynamic. The comparison with, for me, Nunez is a sort of old school classic battering ram, for want of a better word. I mean, there's not much finesse when it comes to Nunez.
No.
And when you play in the league we play in against the majority of the teams we play against, it's why the likes of Nunez struggle, I think, because they need to be playing for a team that has more space to run into. Yeah. And as soon as you come up against two banks of four players, there's no space. You need that finesse in and around the box. And the signing of someone like Ekitike, along with Vert, for me, is exactly on that point. Do you know what I mean? It's go ahead, you sit in, look at these lads, we'll dance around you and pass it through you.
Absolutely. So I anticipate there's going to be loads of people who are turning up to the ground early next season. They're going to be in their seats half an hour before kickoff just to watch them doing all the little rondos and all training, just seeing the ball whizzing around and thinking, some of that, please. But yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because a lot of the stuff we've seen of him on clips, you see him running because the way Frankfurt play, they do have a lot of space. But like you say, if you watch him on the ball, if you watch him when he is in tight spaces, like he reminds me, if we're going to talk about previous Liverpool strikers, he reminds me of like a speedier Crouchy. Because if he's got that slender frame, but he has got those amazing nimble feet. He can get himself out of little pockets with and he's really good appreciator of the players around him. And the big thing for me, the difference between him and Nunez, and I want to address this because I've seen quite a few people look at the numbers for his finishing and say that he's underperforming his XG, which means that he's not scoring the chances that he should be scoring. And then people are seeing and remembering Nunez and thinking, oh God, not another one of those. Well, the thing with that data, the thing with all data is it requires context, and it's just an accompaniment to what you see with your eyes. So if you look at the data and if you look with your eyes, then you start to get the full picture. But one of the parts of the data that I've really liked, and I sent you this, I saw a thread. I should give him credit because there's actually a really good Twitter thread out there. It's by a fella called Spencer Mossman. And it goes into the poor finishing, the supposed poor finishing. And what it says really is that Ekitike actually takes loads of shots and probably takes loads of shots from ridiculous positions that he shouldn't take them. But when he's in position, when he's got a quote-unquote big chance, he puts them away. And think about, you just mentioned Florian Wirtz. Think about the guy who plays to the right, Mo Salah, who got more assists in the league than anyone else. Think about maybe still having Nunez and Diaz. We'll go on to that later. But Cody Gakpo, Szoboszlai, McAllister, technical players, talented players who are going to deliver him big chances. When he looks like he should score, he scores. Can't argue with that.
That's a huge difference, isn't it? Because if you think about Nunez has got two different show reels when you think about him. He's got an unbelievably good show reel of the goals he scored, including that ridiculous lob against Brentford, I think it was. But then his other show reel is the point you've just been making, the flip side of that coin, the big chances he misses. It's not just number of chances and underperforming XG for me with Nunez. It's the big chances, and that's why they stick in your mind.
Exactly.
The one against Everton always sticks in my mind. One-on-one with Pickford and just smashes it straight at him. That was him, the lack of finesse, the panicking in that moment a lot of the time. And so I think that's a huge one. And I think this is the thing people forget as well when they're analysing stats, is that the best of us as fans analysing stats are still only analysing a fraction of the stats that the experts who are analysing these things are analysing on a daily basis. And they're doing it, we're doing it, even the best fan is doing it way below the standard of the best analyst, which we have loads of them working for Liverpool. So they'll be looking at all kinds of data around him. And I said this when I was last on with Robbo, and it's sort of worked out since and panned out, and I think it's going to get even, I think the spend's going to get even bigger. It feels to me like FSG have gone all of the different criteria in place now for us to go all in here, including that their manager, their head coach, is just happy with them deciding pretty much who the players are. They haven't got this. I doubt they've got this big clash that they had at the end of the Klopp regime, which was, we've all heard the stories now. The data team didn't want Nunez. Klopp wanted Nunez.
Exactly, yeah.
And so the data team are there going, we're always fucking right though, aren't we? Like, how often do we... And I know there is a flip side to this, and I heard Ian Graham saying this, no one's always right, and all joking aside. But I'd love to see their hit rate of players that they even said we should have and we didn't buy, because Isak's one of them.
Yeah.
And then all the ones they did say we should buy and we did. Because I was looking at our record signings, and because obviously Ekitike will go into that list near the top. And Nunez is the only one on that hasn't just been a huge success under FSG. And that was Klopp dictated. Yeah. I want him. And you're like, you can imagine the data team are like, we're pretty fucking good at this, you know. We know what we're doing. Trust us. And with this guy, to me, looks like he's got everything he needs to flourish for us.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right to say that nothing is perfect. I mean, there is no transfer without any risk at all. But what we've been good at is minimizing that risk to the point that there are very few mistakes. So I was thinking about what you were saying there before about how few of our biggest ones have been bad and comparing it to all of the biggest ones in the Premier League era. So it's actually Liverpool are night and day compared to everyone else trying to do big transfers and getting it wrong. But I guess a lot of the time it's the reason why they're big. Sometimes it's the name, sometimes it's the circumstances around the sale that make a player's price and valuation go up, rather than it just being the potential and the talent. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the data people taking over, or should I say, reclaiming that ground in terms of how they're prioritized, I definitely think we're seeing that now, and I definitely can think we're going to see the fruits of that labor, because you're seeing players, and it's not just the fact that, oh, he's a good player, but you're thinking, oh, well, he's a good player and he's a good player and they can play really well together because his style suits his style, which means that they might actually both get better. And that's the other thing that I wanted to really highlight around all the stats, because there are so many stats out there about Ekitike flying around. A lot of people are kind of cherry picking different things to suit their own narrative. But all of the stats that are out there so far are on him up until the point he becomes a Liverpool player. There is no guarantee that that's how he's going to continue once he becomes a Liverpool player, because we've got very good coaches, we've got very good players, and we're currently a very good team, very high on confidence. So there's every chance that he gets better from the moment he puts on that red shirt.
100%. And it's funny because you could have gone one or two ways with that. So I'll go the other way first and then come back to the positive one. Because the other side of it is, we've seen over the years how sometimes, and this will be part of the analysis of him, sometimes the weight of the shirt is too much for players and they go the other way. And we've seen that with Man United over the past years. Yeah. So these players who come look good, they sign for United, they crumble, they leave United, they look good again. And you're like, what the fuck? And it still baffles me. I was chatting to someone about this, who I can't name, last week, saying, I still can't believe that psychologists and people working on emotions and all the stuff, internally for sports people aren't a fixture at every Premier League club for every player. It's insane when that's the only difference. When you think about the weight of the shirt, like that's not a literal thing. Like if there was a problem with the weight of the shirt, the kit manufacturers would have things to answer for. It's like, what? I can imagine someone saying that, what? Man United shirts are just really heavy. And it's like, no, it's psychological. Oh, okay. So it's like, there's a psychological problem with players coming to play for big clubs and we don't treat that in any way.
Yeah.
So we're happy to spend £100 million on a player, and then when they psychologically can't deal with the pressure of playing for us after we've invested in them, we don't go, well, maybe we should fix the thing inside them that's causing the problem. We just go, fuck it. Let's get rid of them and get someone else and try again. You're like, that's weird. But anyway, so there is that risk, obviously. But we've seen, and the track record tends to show, that they're clearly looking at that data and doing a lot of background research on character and upbringing and family structure and support groups and all these things around them to say, and it again goes back to what you were saying, on that side especially, there are no guarantees. But this is the difference between us and Man United now, which is lovely, isn't it? It's lovely to just always go back to, and I will never get bored of doing it. We are such a good environment for a player to come into, especially a young player. And I keep seeing this, you'll have seen it, the TNT have tweeted this image saying, like, win the league by 10 points and then add these boys to your squad. Yeah. And you're like, There's that. I keep my eyes keep going to the Premier League trophy because I haven't seen that before. I love it. It's great, isn't it?
That's the point of having it here, though. Just a little reminder.
Just a little. But
by the way,
but we should never forget this. These boys are coming in and joining a Premier League winning side with a manager who we should not forget this because we tend to do this. With a manager who won the league by 10 points, with a squad that he inherited, that he didn't add to, and we say we won the league by 10 points. We could have won the league by well more than 10 points if we hadn't taken our feet off because we're getting pissed for the last 4 games of the season. So you've got these lads coming into a perfect environment for them to improve with a manager that has a track record in his first season with us and before of improving players and a club that knows how to integrate new players. Everything suggests you've got the greatest possibility you've got of making it a successful sign.
Exactly. And I think that extra element of Slot and his ability to improve players, that's going to be something that is really key. And I go back to what Florian Wirtz said when he signed. It was very much like, well, his plan was what convinced me that this is the right place to come. So he already knows exactly what he wants to do with all these parts. But I want to talk a little bit about the money because there's been lots of conflicting reports around exactly how much this deal was going to cost. Fabrizio Romano, everyone's favourite tapping merchant, was quoting 95 million euros, and other people have said 90 million euros, 91 million euros, but there's been lots of focus on exactly how much money this is going to cost. And we've had that thing that always makes me laugh, which is rival fans trying to find the biggest currency which that they can use. So some people are going in dollars, saying, oh yeah, well, they spent so many dollars on this player. It's like, it's a guy we bought from Germany to England. Why the hell are you using American dollars? But there's a real obsession with how much money Liverpool are spending on this young player. And you can argue, potential-wise, maybe it's more than people would have expected. But the thing I keep going back to, 2 things. Number 1, it's not our money. And number 2, it hasn't really stopped us spending out of the money, has it? So those are the really big parts of this. Like, otherwise, it really doesn't matter that much.
I was thinking about this the other day, and this is because I saw a bit. I don't go on Twitter that much anymore, and I definitely don't go into the pit of it. But I saw a little bit of this, and I saw some rumblings of like, people saying we've got double standards and Liverpool fans have got double standards and it's a disgrace and all this. And I was thinking, like, what's my reaction to that? And this is my reaction to it. It's just fucking, like, that's my official reaction because I used to always love it. I had a good mate who was a City fan. And when we're all getting pissed off by them, how much money they spend and stuff, I just always loved it when City fans were just like, we're not arsed. Like, we support a football club that buys boss players and spends loads of money. We don't give a fuck. Like, what you're going to come at us with, we've got double standards. You're going to come at us with, we're all about Moneyball and blah, blah, blah. I couldn't give a flying fuck. Liverpool are, for once, spending loads of money in the transfer window. And having been through the era we've been through as Liverpool fans and had to watch, penny pinching and some of the players we've seen bought over the years, my brain immediately goes to traumatic memories of Roy Hodgson and his gang of shit show that he brought in, Paul Konchesky being one of them. When you've been through all of that, why would we give a fuck? Like, any Liverpool fans getting wound up by this, just give it a rest. Yeah. Like, just enjoy it. It's absolutely brilliant that our club is now spending loads of dough. And like I said before, I don't think it's going to stop with Ekitike. So. Yeah. Let's enjoy it and let's enjoy all the rival fans getting pissed off, because at the end of the day, like we got pissed off with City, they're getting pissed off with us. And I think more so because with City, there was always that, are they cheating? We think they're cheating thing. I don't think anybody has any notion that we're in any way overspending. We're just spending the money we know we've got that we haven't spent before and we're prepared to spend now, which is pissing everybody off, and they're afraid because we were already the best team in the fucking country, like we've said.
Exactly.
And imagine us, if this was one of our main rivals doing this, having just won the league with a new manager who's clearly brilliant, having retained our 2 best players, by the way.
Yeah.
imagine if that was the boot on the other foot, we'd be furious. We'd be throwing all kinds of shit at the other side. This is football. It's why it's an entertainment fucking game.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy it. It's great.
I remember 20 years ago, all of this happened. I remember when Man United bought Wayne Rooney. It was just like, felt really unfair.
Yeah.
It's just like, how are they able to get better? And we've got fuck all.
I remember, the one I always remember, we in the summer, we bought Aquilani for 18 million, and he was a flop because he was injured. Like we all knew he was rolling the dice, but it was like, but if we can keep him fit, we're getting an unbelievable player for a bargain. In that same summer, Man United bought 3 18 million pound midfielders, and they basically just looked at us and went, "Fuck you," because you know what, we can buy 3, and if one of them works, we'll be sound.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. One of them worked, and they were sound. And I remember thinking, "You absolute twats! Like, this is not like you just said. This is not fair."
No.
And that's what everyone's looking at us doing now, which is great.
It's a shame.
Honestly, if we buy Isak, if we go on to somehow get Isak, I might just ditch my social media, sort of minimalization of social media in my life, and just spend days just bathing in. I might open multiple screens.
Just buy a projector.
Yeah, and just have loads of accounts and just bathe in it. Because can you imagine the meltdown?
Oh my goodness me. So, I mean,
And it wouldn't have to just be Isak, by the way. There's other players we can talk about, aren't there? Like,
oh yeah.
Like, imagine if we bought Rodrigo. There would just be the meltdown would be hilarious to watch. Anyway,
it would be so good. But no, you mentioned Isak, and we've gone a good 22 minutes into the show without mentioning him. So let's dive into it, because this is possibly my favourite bit of all of this. You mentioned the conversations between Liverpool and Newcastle earlier. It felt a little bit like The Sopranos. So like Tony comes into the room, he's just like, "So you're going to keep him, huh?" And we're like, yeah, we're going to keep him. It's like, "But you want that other guy, Hugo?" "Yeah." "Well, we're going to take Hugo." "Well, no, we want you." "Are you sure you want to keep him? Are you sure you want to keep him? Because we got this guy, and now he's upset, and he's probably going to leave anyway. And you haven't got the guy you're going to replace him with. We've got him. And you know what? We might just take him too." And it was sort of like, obviously it's cordial because Richard Hughes and Eddie Howe, big friends, they were at Bournemouth together. There's lots of really good memories and relationships. And it would have been an informal, very much casual conversation. But that makes it even better. It was just like your mate just kind of sidled up to you and was just like, "Hey man, I'm just about to take all your dreams away. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine." But Newcastle went from thinking that they were going to get both to now, 7 days later, worrying that they might have neither. And it's like, there are levels to this.
Yeah, do you know what really surprised me about that was? I think, and this goes back to us being great at this game, I think if that was us, and it was at one point, so let's go back, like maybe there's a Coutinho comparison, right?
Yeah.
I think if that was us with the way we're structured, we'd have dealt. Because we'd have said, we can cash in on Isak. He's older. We can get a younger version. He's not. I was, even though we all love Isak and we all want him, there is still an element of risk with him with his injuries.
Yeah.
Like, he's not an ever present. And I think when you spend that much money, you want an ever present. I don't know what Ekitike's fitness record is like, to be honest, but I think if that was Liverpool in Newcastle's boat, especially in the phase they are of their development, I think we'd have dealt, because we'd have gone, we can swap Isak for a younger version of Isak, and we can make 40 to 50 million on the deal, and then we can reinvest that in another part of the pitch.
Yeah.
So we can do what we did with Coutinho. We can take the Coutinho money, we can go and buy Van Dijk and Alisson. It'll make us better all round. And for this phase of our development, that's what we need.
Yeah.
For them to try at this moment in time to keep Isak and buy Ekitike, I think was a massive risk that was never likely to pay off. And I think if you've just seen a few Newcastle fans talk about it, I don't think any sensible Newcastle fan truly ever believed they would have both Isak and Ekitike in their squad at the start of the season.
No.
So they were thinking, well, if we get Ekitike, Isak's going to be gone. There's all the talk anyway of Isak cannot get paid by Newcastle what he would get paid by us or another Champions League club. Plus, he's clearly been unsettled. And it's not just, it's funny that Eddie Howe referenced in everything he said. It's funny that he referenced the length of a player's career.
Yeah.
Because Isak's 26, isn't he? So Isak might be looking at this like, well, I could spend another 2 years at Newcastle, but I'm not going to win the league or the Champions League in that time. I'm just not. Like, Newcastle are on a good trajectory, but they're not going to overthrow Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City in the next 2 years. So Isak's probably looking at it thinking, so if I stay here for 2 years, yeah, we've just won the Carling Cup and I'm a legend. But it was only the Carling Cup, the Carabao Cup, whatever they are. Do I want to spend 2 more years of my career here when I could be at Liverpool and I could win the league for the next 2 years? I could go to Liverpool and realistically win the league and the Champions League in the next 2 years. So isn't that better for me?
Yeah.
And I'd be on well more money. And all of a sudden, and it's funny that you've got this whole thing of, he's not for sale. And you're like, but it's this thing about playing the game as well. We've been on the other side of this, haven't we? A player can not be for sale as much as you want, but are you ready to withstand the player saying, actually, I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to leave.
And what that
I don't want
means.
to be here. We're facing it with Diaz at the moment, probably. And I think that it shows their probably level of naivety in this new version of the club, that they haven't been through this cycle yet. We've been through it a number of times now, and you can tell there's times to hold and there's times to just cash in.
I think so. And I think what we've always had is a faith in what we were saying before in the data team and the recruitment to be able to find the next guys and to find the Allisons and the Van Dijks to make us better. I think if you're Newcastle, if you look at the summer they've had so far, they wanted Mbeumo, they didn't get Mbeumo. They wanted João Pedro, they didn't get João Pedro. They wanted they wanted Liam Delap, they didn't get Liam Delap. They wanted James Trafford, doesn't look like they're going to get James Trafford. They wanted Wissa, I'm not sure they're going to get Wissa. They wanted Ekitike, they haven't got him. So I think there's an element of them saying, well, we can't get the next one because no one wants to come to us. Yeah. So we can't sell the ones we've got if we can't get the next one. So they're desperately holding on to the back of Isak's shirt while he's like trying to run away. And it's not really, it's a difficult situation because if he got to September the 2nd and he was still there, he would still play very well for Newcastle. Like he respects the fact that Newcastle took a chance on him when they signed him because no one else really thought he was that good. He'd been to Dortmund. It hadn't really worked out. It was still a bit of a risk to pay, 60-odd million for him. So he's going to respect that. But if Liverpool do everything that we say and we think that they're going to do, and he's having to watch them parade trophy around next season, he's going to be sitting there in that dressing room thinking, God, I want to get the hell out of here. And there's no way that that's not going to affect how he plays football, even if it's on a subconscious level.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think he's got 2 years left on his deal now.
Three.
But obviously, as we know, every year that drips down, your value decreases slightly. And look, Newcastle, from what you've just said, you can imagine, I always like to think about this, like, well, picture the alternative argument then. Newcastle might well say, yeah, but we've got Isak now. What you just said about them not being able to get other players, like it's hard to attract players to Newcastle.
Yeah, it is.
We've seen this in the past when we wanted Sanchez, and it's like to get a player to pick Liverpool, living in the Northwest versus living in London, there is sometimes just a difficulty doing that. Well, times that by 10, trying to get them to move to Newcastle. And that's just the way it is. Yeah. Like that's just a thing. So you can imagine someone within Newcastle saying, yeah, well, do you know what? We got Isak and he's fucking great. So even if we just kept him for the next 3 years as a top player and let him go for free when he's 29, we'd rather do that because we've got him. Yeah. And if we can't attract the next Isak, we might as well keep this one. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's sad because obviously you can think about how good he would be in this Liverpool team. But like you say, you've got to be able to think about it from their point of view. They've already signed Alanga, who... It's no coincidence that Alanga is his international teammate. It was very much like here you are, mate. Yeah, it's another one of your buddies. Don't worry. You'll still enjoy yourself here. Don't worry. But, I mean, you mentioned Eddie Howe, what he said after the friendly. They lost that friendly 4-0 to Celtic, by the way. I should probably point that out. And there was only Isak and Joe Linton from their main squad who were missing. And yes, it's pre-season. We said last week, you don't want to read too much into it. but the optics aren't great, really, are they? That they took him out of the team and they got humped by Celtic. So he's maybe thinking, what can we do? Like Champions League, they're going to be in it. What can they do, if anything? But the other thing about this, and the fascinating thing is, do you hear what his agents come out and said?
Yeah, this was fascinating. And it's things like this isn't what I'm talking about. You can't control this shit.
No.
And that's what clubs have to, you start learning, is that, especially agents, it's the Wild West, isn't it? Imagine Eddie Howe waking up to this. Go on.
So what he said was, we are studying and analysing our options, and we may be close to finalising the next step for the player without revealing any details of a transfer. Now, he said this to a Saudi newspaper. And obviously, there's been lots of talk all summer about Saudi teams who are still trying to buy some of the best players, still trying to buy younger players rather than the old ones just looking for a payday. They want to make everyone think that take their league seriously, say this is a serious place where people want to come and grow their career, and blah, 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 blah. And oh yes, there seems to be a bit of a link between Newcastle and Saudi already, isn't there? Their owners are the Saudi Public Investment Fund. So Newcastle may well be slightly more amenable to selling Isak to a Saudi club, because that also means that they don't have to play against him 2 times a year if he went for Liverpool.
I hope you're not suggesting, though, mate, that there's any connection between Saudi Arabia as a place and a state that's, run with all this wealth and the running of Premier League football teams, and that there might be a connection between the two. Like, that's ridiculous to even suggest. This is the other side of it, is that this will be another one of those things now where all of a sudden he's sold to a Saudi club for 300 million. And they'll, with a straight face, they'll say to the cameras, no, we're not owned by the same people. I'd be like, yeah, okay. We have to all swallow this again, do we? Okay.
Fair enough, whatever. Yeah. And I mean, you'd like to think that the most sought after striker in world football would probably say he wants to stay in Europe and play for the Champions League and win the big trophies. But you never know. He might well be tempted. He might be so soured by the situation in Newcastle that he just wants to get away. I don't think him playing in Saudi would have any effect on his ability to play for Sweden. And if they qualify for the World Cup, he'd still be there. They absolutely want to play him. So you could see a world where he could be tempted. But again, I think of not the ownership who are desperate to hold on to their assets one way or another. I think of the Newcastle fans. How would they feel if he ends up being sold to Saudi and then Liverpool come to St James's Park in August and Ekitike bangs in a couple of goals and we win and we get 3 points? It's not going to be a very happy day for them, is it?
No. Whenever I see any, even Nunez for this matter, like whenever I see any top player linked with Saudi Arabia now, I just always feel a bit sad about it all. I'm just like, really? And I know, look, in fairness to them knocking City out of the Club World Cup did something for their league, because all of a sudden, it was someone said, one of my uncles, I think, said to me, have you seen their team though? Al Hilal's team. I was like, no, it's like a proper team.
Yeah.
Like we've all just been a bit blind to this because we hear about the big transfers and all that. But I think sort of on the quiet, for people like me who aren't paying too much attention to it, those top couple of teams have built good teams, and they've brought in good managers, and so they in one-off games they can clearly do something. And at the same time, we've all seen the crowds, and we've all seen what happens with the rest of the league, and the quality isn't that good in the rest of the league. So I do think it's still a bit sad when anybody in the prime of their career chooses to move there instead of continuing with the highest level of football, basically.
And some of them think that maybe they can go there for a couple of years, earn a bit of a wage, and then come back. And you look at, say, John Duran, he moved there in January. He's already on loan back in Fenerbahce. So, I mean, I don't know how much he earned in 6 months, but I don't know. Maybe he feels like that was enough to just dip his toe in a little bit and then get out again. But I don't know. It just feels like one of those things where it's like, it's easier to get there than it is to get out. I don't know. Maybe I'm just watched too many Escape from Alcatraz movies. I just think maybe it is easier. I don't know. But you mentioned Nunez, and the other thing about all of this Liverpool spending thing is it means that the reality is Liverpool are going to have to sell some players because, as we said, it is a sustainable model. It's not money that's been, magicked out of the sky or magicked out of someone else's pocket. It's all come from how Liverpool generate their money. So either performances, so prize money, or sales. And I thought it was very interesting how Liverpool didn't announce anything about this behind closed doors friendly against Stoke. And we only heard about it at half time when Darwin Nunez had already scored a hat-trick. Funny that, isn't it? Funny how no one was mentioning it and suddenly, oh, look, Darwin Nunez scored a hat-trick. And then an hour later, oh, look, the highlights are out on the YouTube channel so we can all look at Darwin Nunez. Oh, look how good he looks. Doesn't he think he can be a good striker? Wouldn't you want him in your team? Hey. I mean, we are good at this, but we're not exactly, it's a bit transparent, really, isn't it?
It's not subtle, is it? Yeah, we didn't mention about this game to you, but here's the highlights. I can imagine that that highlight reel being sent to so many agents' inboxes. Check your DMs, mate. Some Darwin Nunez goals here.
And I just think that we've talked a little bit before about the market and how lots of the strikers who are moving are going to be going for money that a lot of people think is too much. Well, I feel like this might be somewhere where it benefits Liverpool, because if you ask a lot of Liverpool fans, they would take a lot less money for Darwin Nunez than Liverpool, the club, are asking. But I mean, Napoli have already said that they are out of the race, but there's plenty of other teams in the race. You mentioned Saudi. I think AC Milan have kind of been sniffing around him. There's quite a few. And I maintain he hasn't worked at Liverpool. That's clear for everyone to see. But that doesn't mean to say he won't work anywhere. I think there are the right circumstances out there for him in another team where he can go there and he can thrive.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've said this before. I think one of the things Liverpool fans need to be just prepare themselves for is Darwin Nunez going somewhere else and us seeing highlights of great goals every week. Because he is a good goal scorer. He will score goals in the right team and in the right league. Yeah. It's as simple as that. And I hope he does get a good move. I hope he does get somewhere that, that suits his level of... Because at the end of the day, I think Ian Graham said this as well, when we were... It's like when we picked Nunez, it wasn't like Klopp was, rolling the dice on someone from the third division. It was a choice between Isak and Nunez. Like, they were two of the hottest properties in Europe. It's not that no one wanted Nunez. Like, he was a good player, really good player. I remember talking about it at the time that, we obviously backed ourselves to, like we are with Ekitike, to get the next level out of him. And it hasn't worked out. For once, it just didn't work out. But as you say, that doesn't mean he can't go somewhere else and absolutely tear it up. And I think he probably will. So, I hope... Because as you said, we all know it hasn't worked out properly. He's done all right. He's done pretty well. For any other club, people would probably be saying he's done well. But he's playing for Liverpool, and that's just not good enough.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we all really like him, and he's always worked really hard, and we like his character, we like his personality.
Yes.
So I hope he does get a good move.
And that's the difference between, again, the chronically online people who, the get out of my club people who are always nameless, faceless idiots, and the people who actually support the team, who actually try to help the players when they're at the game by cheering them and supporting them. And they're actually, like you say, they can recognize the fact that, you know what, sometimes it's just not the right place for the right person, but he's still trying his hardest. Like, I think if you look at how he's been in the friendly against Preston and then and since, and obviously what with everything that's gone on over the last few weeks at Liverpool, you look at him and you'd have to have a really hard heart to not want him to succeed at some point. But you can say that and still don't think it's going to happen in our garden. It's going to have to be somewhere else. But someone else you mentioned earlier, Luis Diaz. I feel like it's a little bit different situation with Luis Diaz. Liverpool are playing absolute hardball, like to the point where Barcelona, who were very interested in Luis Diaz, have actually now signed someone else to play on the left wing. More on him later. But Bayern Munich is still interested. They're still putting in bids. Liverpool is saying he's not for sale. He's not for sale. He's not for sale. But here's the price if he is for sale. I still have my doubts that Bayern Munich are going to put up the money that Liverpool want. But if you were there, if you were Hughes and Edwards, would there be an element of wriggle room in terms of would you be hardline sticking to this? If no one comes in at this price, you're staying put, lad. Or would you see some wriggle room and maybe look at a Rodrigo, or someone else, Malik Fofana, and Anthony Gordon, and say, well, it's probably a younger player, maybe can match his production, might be worth us doing the deal?
Yeah, I think it just depends. And I think I saw someone else saying this online. It might have actually been Rob Gutman. And I think this is a perfect example of how great we are at this game. And we've been through it so many times now. There'll just be a trigger point where it's like, this is the number, fellas. And if you hit our number, you can have him because we know we can get this other guy. But if you don't hit our number, we're quite happy to just, and we'll say to Diaz, mate, we're quite happy for you to sit and just work out your contract. Yeah, it's all right. You're not going to get a new contract with us, but we're all right with you going on a free in a couple of years. We're just good with that. Yeah. And I know it's something that like drives football fans mad. And it's like the whole Trent thing, and we've seen it before. But football clubs like, no, we've factored all this in. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I always remember someone saying it in defence of Steve McManaman, all those for the younger viewers and listeners. All those years ago when this all first started kicking off with Bosman transfers and stuff. And I'd never thought of it before someone pointed it out, and it was someone in defence of McManaman said, yeah, but you've got to remember, everyone always focuses on the fact they left on a free. But what they don't see is they didn't renew their contract 2 or 3 years before. And that contract renewal would have given them a significant pay rise. Yeah. So they've sacrificed that pay rise for 2 or 3 seasons. And the club have saved that money for 2 or 3 seasons, which means they're happy for you to walk out on a free because we've saved the money that we would have paid you in the con. Yeah. And there's all kinds of calculations in this. And I know this amount you save in salary is unlikely to match a lot of the time what you'd get on a transfer fee. But there's all of that to take into account. And I just think that will be the conversation with Diaz and his agent and Bayern Munich or anybody else. It'll just be, look, lads, here's the figure. We're being open about it. Give us the money we want and you can have him and we'll go and buy someone else. And if not, and I do wonder whether, and maybe this is just me doing I was saying this the other day though about delusion, right? Yeah. I was like, at the end of the day, having studied humans and psychology for so long now, something I've realised is we all live in delusion. Human beings love making shit up in our own head. And you can often choose between 2 types of delusion. A delusion that makes you miserable and a delusion that makes you happy. And what I've done more and more recently is choose the delusions that make me happy. Yeah. And if anyone goes to me, but you're just deluded, I'm like, so? I'm happy. You're deluded and you're fucking miserable. Like, what is delusion? Delusion is just telling yourself stories in your head. Well, you tell yourself stories that make you fucking depressed and miserable. I used to do that too. It's shit. Just start telling yourself better stories. So this might well just be one of my many delusional better stories that makes me happy. But I do wonder whether there's an element of we could get Isak and Ekitike because we can look at lots of the lads we've got can play on the left. Like I just noticed in your thing before, it said, yeah, Ekitike could play off the left. Vert can play off the left. Gakpo, quite happy playing off the left. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, so do you need a Diaz replacement? Do you need a Rodrigo? Do you need a, what's his face from Newcastle? Anthony Gordon. Woodgate came into my head then. That's mad, isn't it? Why did Woodgate come into my head? And when you do that thing to your brain, it's like this. It's like Homer Simpson. You go to your brain, it's not Jonathan Woodgate. And my brain went, this is all happening in a few seconds, obviously. My brain's like, it is Jonathan Woodgate. I'm like, Jonathan Woodgate was a centre-back who retired years ago. It's not him. It is. Just say Woodgate. It's not Woodgate.
Who is it?
And then at that point, it's like, well, I've got no alternative. Anthony Gordon's name is not registering in my brain because Jonathan Woodgate has taken the space. But anyway, it's not. We're not going to buy Jonathan Woodgate for the left wing, although that would be a turn up for the books.
I'll tell you.
But this is the thing with me. This is why I say I just don't think the spending's done. I would say, I know you've got a game coming up. I would say that come the end of the season, we will have another attacker, whoever that is, and we will have a centre back.
I think centre back's nailed on. I think we've currently only got 3 senior ones, and I think that they will need to get one. Whether or not it's Mark Gahey or someone else, we don't know. But
isn't it funny how, like, and this is how it's changed. We've gone from, in previous seasons, being like, we're not going to spend any money, to just assuming we're going to spend 40 or 50 million on a centre-back. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, yeah, we'll definitely buy a centre-back for 40 million quid. Yeah, definitely. Don't worry about that. Yeah. That's done.
So, like, looking at the training squad that they sent out to the Far East, because Liverpool left for the Hong Kong and Japan for their pre-season tour last night. They arrived there this morning. There's some cool pictures of Virgil being mobbed by fans like he's a member of the Beatles. I love that. It's a little bit different than when Man United went there. I think you've all seen those pictures. But
this as well, by the way. I always think it's brilliant for new signings.
Yeah.
Do you have to roll in and be like, wow, I get to play for this club and be like the Beatles. And you're like, yeah, it's cool. And you can imagine Van Dijk going to them. It's cool, isn't it?
This is it. Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen it. There's a video of Kanate on the plane, and he's showing like Rio and Gamora. He's like sitting up in business class. It's like, hey lads, this is what it's like to play for Liverpool. Welcome to the big leagues.
Nice.
But yeah, like there's not very many centre halves in that training squad. There's Lucas Stevenson, who's technically a midfielder, who's one of the youth players. Obviously, Robbo played there in the game against Preston, so we might put him in. But there's got to be more coming in. But you mentioned the game. Let's play the game. Because the game is, last week, me and Robbo were doing the turd scale on transfer rumours. So I thought I'd kind of bring it back here in a slightly different manner. So we're going to look at the players that we've already got. So 5 turds is definitely not, and 1 turd is definitely are.
So definitely not is definitely not playing for us.
Yes, definitely not. So who's going to be? Which of these players are still going to be at Liverpool when the window closes? Okay. 5 turds, definitely not. 1 turd is definitely they will be still here. So the first one's easy. Darwin Nunez.
See. So are you saying 5 turds for Darwin?
I'm saying 6 turds.
Oh yeah, really? Yeah. See, so I'd have said 5, but I'm saying. I'd say 4.5 if you can have half a turd. There's just a little thing even thinks there's a chance he's not. I don't think it's much of a chance. So
yeah,
I
that's
don't
fair.
know.
Half a turd.
Do you want whole turds?
Oh no, we can do it in halves.
If we're going in percent, if we're going in decimals, I'm like 4.8. Turds. Like, I think there's a very, very strong possibility he's gone.
Look, it depends on your fibre intake. But in fairness, I was doing half turds last week, so I have to allow you to do them. But no, that's a fair point. It depends on how much money the bid comes in, which brings me to the next one, Luis Diaz.
I think Diaz is a 3.5.
Yeah,
I think he's more out than in.
I think I'm there as well.
That's an awful thing to say when you're talking about turd ratings, isn't it?
There's still a lot more work to be done, but yeah, you're looking down and you're seeing more than you think is still in there. Yeah, no, I agree. I think whether it's Bayern Munich or whether it's someone else, once again, Saudi gang, come back into it. I think we're probably getting to the point where we're thinking, fair enough. You want to go, you go, with our blessing.
Yeah. Okay,
next one. Ben Doak.
Are we talking permanent transfer or just not at the
I can allow you a loan.
I think if we're including loans, Ben Doak's 5.
Right.
I don't think he'll be a Liverpool. I don't think he'll be in the Liverpool squad on the first day of the season. I'm not sure we'll sell him, but this ties into something else. I don't know whether you're going to come on to if we've got time about the
young ones.
The young ones.
We might have to save that one for the subscriber show. But yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? Because last January, there were loads of bids for him. And it was very much like Liverpool. We don't want to sell him. We like him. We think he's got a future. But it's difficult to still see him at this stage where he's at. Come straight in and be a Liverpool player. But then you've got to factor in that it's an AFCON season. So we're going to be without Mo Salah for quite some time. And, well, one of the other guys who plays on right wing is also on this list. So we might come to him in a minute. But you start thinking, well, okay, who is our backup for when Mo's not around? Like, okay, you might have Frimpong, but technically he is a right back. Is he a forward? So there are all these other considerations that come into it. But I'm like you. I think he probably isn't going to be part of the squad. I wouldn't be upset if he was, I'll put it that way. Okay, a more difficult one. Andy Robertson.
Yeah, I'm worried about. I'm a bit worried about Andy Robertson, and it's funny what you just said then about the centre back thing, because all of the first preseason games of the summer, I'm looking at it thinking, I don't think I've ever said this on a show before, which is mad considering how many shows we've done between us. I don't think I ever said it on an Anfield Wrap either. I think left backs, exclusive left backs, are the most useless fucking people to have in your squad. And I say that with the greatest of respect to these lads, because I fucking love Robertson, as we all do. Tsimikas is mad and all right, and Kirkes is
equally mad
and mad. But the thing I say about them being useless is left back seems to be the only position in a football squad that can only play one position. Like right backs can usually play left back, but left backs for some mad reason can never play right back. It's fucking crazy. So your best bet, it's like apart from under Rafa, who started playing two left backs.
Yeah,
Jerry, you'd love playing a left back, left midfield, which I'm not sure any of us want to see again. The only thing that changes that then was seeing Andy Robertson playing left-sided centre-back. So the point of me saying that was, we're not going to start the season. I wouldn't have thought until at this point I'm about to make. I was just like, we're not going to start the season with Kirkes, Tsimikas and Robertson in our squad. Kirkes isn't going anywhere because we've just bought him.
Yeah.
So Tsimikas or Robertson has to go. But then I saw Robertson playing left-sided centre-back and thought, oh, is Slot doing another like magical mystery thing that we haven't seen coming, and he's going to convert? Because I could imagine, you can picture that conversation, can't you? You can picture a conversation with an aging Andy Robertson where we say to him, look, mate, you haven't got the legs anymore to bomb up and down the left wing because you've been flogged for years by a Klopp side especially. But as a left-sided centre-back, you're actually quite quick. The downside is you're not very big. But there are enough games in a season where we could use you as a centre-back that would mean it's worthwhile you converting. Does that work for you too? That's the way I could see all three of them staying. I just don't actually think it's much of a possibility. Bearing in mind, our left-sided centre-back is Virgil van Dijk. Yeah. So how often are you going to leave him out or move him across? You're not. But then I'm ducking the question. I'm doing the politician thing of not answering the question. It's going to be Robertson or Tsimikas goes. I think it's probably going to be Robertson's decision on that. I think if it was up to the club, they'd just sell Tsimikas. But they're not going to sell Tsimikas until they know what Robertson intends to do. I wonder whether, given everything that's happened, given he's won a second league title, he's won everything there is to win, he's clearly been replaced as our first choice left back. He's not daft. I wonder whether a move to an Atletico or someone like that would just appeal to him right now. Maybe. And I think that's one of the things they'll be desperate to get nailed down, because they won't want to start the season with all three of them. No,
you're right. I think he's earned the right to be the one who makes that decision. Definitely. I think Atletico, I believe, have signed another left back now.
I was going to ask you that, yeah.
But there are still a few others out there. I still think there's a few others who might come out of the woodwork if they think if they get wind that he's decided that he doesn't want to be back up to Kirkes. I would love it if he decided he did want to be back up to Kirkes, because I still think the backup role for him would be really good. I think he's got a lot to offer the squad. I think that if you're not playing him all the time, you're not flogging him to death, he can still be a really good footballer. So I'd like him to stay, but yeah, we'll wait and see. And you've kind of done him and Tsimikas together, so I won't make you do him. It's like an either or situation.
Yeah, so it's funny because I was just thinking then, well, I don't like ducking questions. So what would I'd probably rank them both. I'd rank them both 2.5 thirds because it's one or the other.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And I feel that, do you know what? I actually feel for Costas in a way, because he desperately wants to stay, and he's probably sitting there having this conversation at home, going, "Well, I'm waiting to see what Andy Robertson wants to do." Because if Robertson decides he's staying, I'm gonna be living somewhere else. I know we've talked about this in the past on many shows, but I do think we just forget about this far too often. That Kostas Tsimikas, we're recording this on the 21st of July, him and his family, and I don't know who's in his family, but him and his family could be living in a different country in 6 weeks. And I don't think we don't even think about
He's been
that.
here for 5 years.
Yeah.
He's put down roots, so it's a big deal. That's why I think it might be, if he ends up leaving, like somewhere like Leeds makes a lot of sense because it's not a million miles away in terms of travel. You could almost say a world where in the first year of his contract, the family stays here and he commutes to Leeds or whatever. So you can see a world where that happens. My sister probably wouldn't be that pleased because she's a Leeds fan, but we'll deal with that. But anyway, we've done the easy ones. Now they're getting harder. Ibu Konate.
Yeah, see, I'm not sort of keeping up to date with the rumours around him, but I wouldn't go as far as saying he's definitely going to be a Liverpool player at the start of the season. I'd say he's a 2. I'd be amazed if we let him go. Purely on the basis of our reaction before of we're very confident we're going to get a centre-back in.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, if you sell Konate, and you've always got to think, I like to think about this from a manpower perspective, right? Everyone likes to forget this as well. Our transfer team this summer are working their bollocks off to do this many transfers. The last thing they'll want to do is add 2 transfers to that list that they don't need to do.
Yeah.
And if they sell Konate, they've got to do 2 transfers because they've got to sell Konate and buy a Konate replacement.
Yeah.
And that is not easy to do at this stage of the window. So I think even if he agitates to leave, which I'm not sure what the rumours are right now, whether he is, I think even if he agitates to leave, they'll say, just stay, and they'll roll the dice on not renewing the contract.
Yeah, no, I'm like you. I'm very low turd on Ibu. I still believe that they can get him to sign a new contract. I think that we might get to October, November time, be top of the league, flying in the Champions League, and say to him, look, come on, man. Like, Real Madrid might be a shambles by that point. PSG might have signed another centre-half by that point. Look, just stay with us. Be our guy. Like, when the old geezer's gone, you can take over the armband. Like that option is open at the moment because Van Dijk, Salah, maybe even Alisson are all going to be potentially leaving at one go. So there's going to be a leadership vacuum. Why not you?
Yeah,
Although the last person we said that to didn't end up wanting to say. Okay, here's one. Harvey Elliott. How many tears for Harvey?
It's funny. It's funny when you set your bar at the beginning with Nunez at 4.5 because then I'm measuring everything against that. I think Harvey Elliott's more likely to leave than Nunez.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so. My brain wants to do disgusting things.
We're trying to make it as visual as possible.
Yeah, and I'm trying to withhold from doing that. I think I'd be amazed if he didn't go. I don't think it's 100% definite, but it's 4.9. I'd be amazed. Partly because there just isn't a place for him.
Yeah.
Realistically, he didn't get enough minutes last year, and we've bought Florian Wirtz and Ekitike. So I just don't think there's a place for him. I think we're going to buy another attacker, and I think they'll have factored in getting 50 million for him in the grand scheme of things because it's a great time to sell him off the back of the under-21s tournament.
Yeah.
His age, his form, his profile, the length of time on his contract. It's just the perfect time to sell him. So if we didn't cash in, I'd be amazed. And I think everything's just pointing into him leaving because the way he talks about it has changed. Joe, he's gone from I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm never leaving, I'm here for good, to well, I've got to do what's best for my career.
Yes.
So do you know what? I could be convinced to put him as a 5.
I think I'm with you on that. I think the main variable is which club puts up the money and whether or not he believes it's somewhere where he can thrive or whether he thinks it's a level. If it's a Wolves, for example, or if it's maybe a West Ham or maybe a club in the Champions League and somewhere else in Europe, who knows? But yeah, I think it's got to the point now where if he really wants to play in the World Cup, he probably does need to leave.
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
100%.
But hey. And finally, the last man on this list is our good friend Freddie Church, Federico Chiesa, who, I should point out, didn't go on the pre-season tour, despite the fact that he played and scored in that game against Stoke behind closed doors, because he has a minor fitness issue.
Even when I read that, I was like, well, that's bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not going to not take someone on a pre-season tour because he has a minor fitness issue. What's wrong with him? He's just hurt his toe. Well, you just fucking take him because he'll be better in a week, won't he? So he's a mad. It's been a mad signing, Chiesa. I think, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, he's the only lad we signed last year. He didn't get a look in at all, really, apart from the FA Cup game. Just seemed to, that was it for him. Like, if you can't perform in this, then what's the fucking point? Which I think is a little bit harsh. And I like him. And I think he seems to be a great lad. And I just think it's all a bit mad that one day we'll be like, I remember Chiesa played for us. Because, yeah, I think he's a 5, Ted.
Yeah.
Oh, the only thing is who wants him and where will he go? I can't imagine him wanting to stay because how is he going to get anywhere near to the side?
And again, World Cup year, you think about that's going to be the highest in their mind. He's going to probably end up going back to a team in Italy, trying to fight his way into the World Cup squad. And he probably will. Who knows? Maybe the Serie A is a different intensity to the Premier League. So maybe he's got more chance of playing regularly and building up a bit more strength and playing again. Like we said before with Nunez, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes somewhere and he does well. But yeah, it was a bit of a swing. It didn't quite hit the fence, put it that way. Like, got caught out in the deep, if we're going to cross analogies between baseball and cricket. Yeah. So we haven't got much time. That's pretty much the hour. But I couldn't let this free show go by without talking about what happened a couple of weeks ago, where you went into one of my establishments, Jacaranda, and tried to put me out of business. For those who don't know, or don't follow Kopi on Instagram, you went to an open mic night, I believe. Was that right?
Yeah.
And if the video, you put 2 videos out there, a couple of songs. So my first question is, what inspired you to go out there and do it?
The short version of the answer is stepping into doing all the things I want to do in life, basically. And, unapologetically, no fear, just whatever I want to do, regardless of... It's funny how many people and I've been talking about this for a long time now, and I'm moving towards it with all the work I've been doing in my own life and coaching other people to do. It's funny how many people, and someone said this to me once about we live in an era now where people don't do things. It's like the X Factor. The guy said to me, he was a singing teacher, and he said it's the X Factor generation, that unless you can be the best in the world, people don't want to do it. Yeah. Because they'll get criticised. Because, they'll put... Something goes on social media and everyone tells them they're shit. And they don't want that. And it's just really, really sad, I think. And I'm just like, fuck it. I'm doing it. I don't care how good I am. I don't care. And it was funny because, for anyone who saw it, but anyone who didn't see it, I joked about it at the start of the first song because I just do this thing. Again, the delusional thing. In my head, I was going to rock up an open mics was just loads of beginners. And it turned up with the first 3 people who got up before me were fucking brilliant. They're unbelievable guitarists. 2 of them sang in French. I mentioned this on the show the other week. It's just fucking hell. And I made mistakes when I was playing, and I think my singing's all right. It's not fucking never going to be world class. But I was I enjoyed it. Yeah. I fucking loved it. I buzzed off it. I've had loads of nice comments about it, and I've already had people, which was part of the reason I did it, was to inspire other people. Go and do what you want to do. And I've had multiple people message me saying, yeah, you've inspired me, mate, to get the guitar back out and to go and do an open mic or whatever. And I was like, yeah, sound, go and do it.
Absolutely. Fantastic. That's like you say, that's the best thing. That regardless of what anyone thought of your performance and they were sitting there, if you've inspired other people to go out there and break through that barrier of fear and, like you say, the fear of what other people might judge you, and then that's a win. It's a massive win. And you say your singing voice wasn't that great. I thought it was pretty damn good, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
thanks, mate. I appreciate it.
I do think it's funny because we've spoken so much. I mean, for people who don't know, we're recording this in a wonderful studio that also has a shit ton of musical instruments, literally about 20 yards that way, not even 20 yards that way. And it was something we always talk about, we should just kind of, have a bit of a jam, get together. Because, I play a bit of bass, Robert plays a bit of guitar, and obviously you do as well. And we were talking about the idea of, we should get together and, write a song or write the theme song for next season or whatever. But, That's just got that one step closer.
Yeah, the TLC band, because you had a jam when I wasn't here a few months ago, didn't you? And Robbo said to me since whenever, and he mentioned it to me that night, because Robbo was with me that night, and he said to me, you know, Mo's good on the bass, you know, and Dave can do the drums. And I was like, mate, I have floated the idea of a TLC band in the past. Like, I've always wanted to be in a band. Who hasn't? Growing up as a lad, but you know, there's the and as you say, it's just that little step closer. Yeah. Who knows?
Now, we're not going to put any pressure on it because you know what we're like. We have to do this organically. You have to find the right point, but. If anyone out there has got any ideas for what a band name could be, because obviously TLC is already taken. Yeah. So yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine we had a band called TLC and it was on the internet and people were looking up going, fucking hell, TLC. TLC haven't aged well, I think.
No. Well, when did one of them get a beard?
Putting comparisons up, going, which one's which? Fuck. They used to be really hot and now look at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. But yeah, we are in the market for some band names. So if you've got anything that you might want to throw our way, let us know. And yeah, that'll probably do it. So we've still got loads of the agenda to come in the subscriber show. Some of the things we haven't touched on yet. We haven't talked about the Crystal Palace business and their new rivalry with Nottingham Forest. We haven't talked about Marcus Rashford going to Barcelona and the idea of falling upwards. We haven't talked about Friends reunited, reunions, nostalgia, and all that kind of gear. We haven't talked about the Coldplay couple. We're going to talk about all of that and more. Come follow us over on Patreon. If you haven't subscribed already, what have you been doing? If you want to, you can get a free token. You can go out there and do a little bit of a dip, see how it feels for now. Maybe you can continue from there. But if you haven't so far, click like on this video, subscribe, tell your friends, tell the world about what we're doing here because we think it's worth chatting about. Kobe, thank you as ever.
My pleasure, mate.
We'll see you all in either 10 minutes or 7 days.